Crispies, happy birthday and welcome to your new coffee machine, the isomac Tia Due. So, it's gonna just take you through a little tutorial. This is how it works. It's a pretty sturdy coffee machine. It's hard to break, which is why we bought it for you. And I'll just take you through some basic things. So, obviously, this is where you put the water. Mine's all warped because it got left on for too long. One time, one of my staff poured water down here, and if you do that, you'll fry the circuit board. A lot of people say you're supposed to use filtered water. I haven't been using filtered water for the last few years, and I can't see it making too much difference, but each to their own. So I'll just make a coffee. I always use the 2-cup. I never use a single cup. It comes with a single basket function, but it's just the way that I roll. So when you're doing I'll explain it once we finish grinding. So when I do the grind, I basically have it over the top, and then I give it a double tap, and that'll bring it down. And then I flatten it with my finger. Then I tamp it, which is going to be hard one-handed, but I can do it. And that should do the trick. Now, before I pour every coffee, I always go through the same routine. Purge. If I want to double check that it's clean, I'll put the blind filter in and turn it on and wait until this gauge flicks up to 12 or whatever. And then it'll stop there, and then you turn it off. Then you can have a look in here. And you can see there's little bits of coffee in there, so it's maybe a little bit dirty, so you can do that again. If the machine turns off at any point, it means you've run out of water, so you just need to put water in. I just use a milk jug, I fill it up at the tap, and then I pour it straight in. Still a few little grounds in there, so I'm going to keep doing that. One more time, because we're getting impatient. Looks good. Okay, so when you've done your coffee, you've tamped it, you get rid of the little bits of coffee around the side. So this section is nice and clean, because that's the bit that forms the seal under here. And so you pop that in, get your cup, and you turn it all the way up, and hopefully coffee will come out. So if the coffee doesn't come out, you get a few different, okay, that's good. So you can see the pressure's gone to 12 and the coffee's just coming out slowly. If the pressure hadn't even reached up to here and the coffee started coming out, it means that your grind is too coarse and you need to make it finer. And obviously if the coffee doesn't come out at all, it means your grind is too fine and you need to make it coarser. As far as the timing's concerned, everyone has different theories about it. I just, base it on how it tastes and how it looks. This one looks pretty good. So then if you put it down to halfway, it'll slowly drip out. So you want to put it down to all the way. I'm not sure why it does that. I'm sure it's in the instruction manual why it does that. The guy who sold it to me told me it was something to do with wetting the coffee, but yeah, I don't know. Let me get our milk. Now the beauty of this machine is that it's a double boiler. So that means you can do your milk and your coffee at the same time if you have to make a lot of coffees, for example. or if you have a friend helping you. The coffee, well, I mean the milk, everyone sort of knows how to do milk in different ways. I'll show you the way that I do it. I mean, if I had one complaint about this machine, it's that it doesn't do perfect milk. Like, it doesn't do it like a cafe machine does it. I'm not sure if that's just because my machine's old or whatever it is, but if you put the milk in here, because I'm doing it one-handed, I'll just put it in and crank this up. You're listening to it. It's more about the sound that it's making. You want a little bit of bubble, but not too much bubble, and you want the milk to be spinning around in a circle. That's called texturing. And you're touching the side of the jug until it's too hot to touch, and then that's finished. There's a few big bubbles in there, but not too bad. And we'll see what we can do with the one-handed pour. Look at that. Amazing. Done. So, okay. Coffee's made, but your job is not finished yet. You always need to clean the steam on straight after you do it. If you wait, the milk will cook onto it and it will be difficult to clean later. You also want to purge your steam wand every time. I do it every time when I'm about to make the milk and every time after I've finished doing the milk. So you purge it, and when you're finished using your machine, so if you think you're going to have another coffee, just leave it like it is. Don't take this out, leave it in, because if you take this out, there's a rubber seal under here that with the heat, it will eventually dry out and crack, and you'll have to replace it. But if you leave this in, it keeps it wet and it keeps it, well, you know how rubber works. So if I've finished making coffee, take this out, clean that later. We're gonna, and before, every time before we make a coffee, like if we were to make another coffee right now, put the beans in, tamp it, before we do it, we have to purge the machine every single time. As you can see that dirty coffee water that comes out, I'll show you if you put the blind filter in, you'll see the dirty water that comes out. You don't need to do the blind filter if you're going to make another coffee. I'm just going to show you to demonstrate. I mean, it's not that dirty, but if I'd put this in straight away and purged it, you'd see that dirty water. So make sure you purge before you make a coffee. Now I'm just going to quickly show you how to descale the machine. I got the descaler here, which you should have come with your machine. So you get your blind filter, you get a spoon of the descaler, pop it in there. Keep the descaler in a safe place. Told you the story about how my kitchen hand confused it with sugar. Put the descaler in, turn the machine on, and we're going to let it run up to the maximum bars. There we go, and then you'll see this is going to be the descaling liquid that's coming out. I'm just going to empty my drip tray because it's full. This is a good way to clean your drip tray as well when you descale it. Make it just so you just have to run it under. So I've done the cycle once. I'm just going to do it 3 times this cycle. And what we should see is when we push it all the way down, we should see some dirty, foamy coffee water eventually coming out of here. Not that time, maybe next time. I guess my coffee machine is relatively clean, but if you went to do this very regularly, then it would be a pretty sad situation with the liquid coming out here. We'll do it one more time just for good measure. There we go. It's getting a little bit dirtier actually. So if we have a look in here, we've still got quite a lot of descaler in here. What I'm going to do is pour that into my milk jug. I'm going to wash out my blind group. You can see there's some dirty coffee water coming out, that's a good sign. Give this a little rattle. You sort of get all the little bits of coffee that get stuck up under here out of the way. And now what we're going to do is we're going to keep running through the cycle about 5 times just to make sure that all the descaler is out of the system. And every time we run the cycle, we're going to empty the water out of here. Oop, I've run out of water. Ooh. Dirty, super clean. Can't remember the last time I descaled it. Must have been too long ago. And after you've descaled it, you the first coffee might taste like descaler anyway, so you can sort of just throw that one out and yeah, or give it to somebody else. Yeah. I don't know how many times I've done this now. There must be almost 5. You should feel like this thing get a little bit looser as well when you descale it, because the dirt can sort of build up inside that thing, and that's what the descaling does. It sort of makes all that run a lot smoother. Sometimes, like when the machine gets a bit older, you can have this situation where the steam bar, like it builds all the way up and it doesn't go down. And I've found the best way to fix that is to just run the steam. And that is also a good way to clean the steam wand. If you just let it run on max for a little while, it'll get any of the milk that's built up inside it out. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. 13-minute video, so I hope you enjoy.